Hey, welcome to the J&B podcast. I'm Bray Jones. To my right is Jonathan Brooks. Below me is Watson Mosseller. And today, on our first episode, we have a very special guest, Kevin Jones. He was signed by Cleveland Cavaliers in 2012 after a Final Four appearance with WVU in 2011. 2010 and 2011, he was an All-Big East team. Currently plays overseas for Alvark Tokyo. All right, so just to begin, give our audience a quick rundown of who you are and just introduce yourself to them.
Okay. Right now, or
Yeah. Sorry.
oh, me. You said give me. You want me to give a quick rundown on who I
Yes.
am?
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right. My name is Kevin Jones, former basketball player at WVU. I played there from 2008 to 2012. Currently playing overseas in Japan, and it's been a long journey, and I'm grateful to be a part of this show right now. So thank you guys for having me.
We appreciate you, man.
Yeah.
So going back to like your early life before college and professional basketball, at what point did you realize that basketball is what you wanted to do?
So I was kind of forced into playing basketball somewhat by my older brother, just because I was bigger than everybody else at my age. So he was just like, you're going to play some kind of sport, you know,
Right.
you're going to try something, football, basketball, whatever, you're going to try some kind of sport. So I was kind of forced into the sport. But the moment when I actually started liking it and thinking I can actually do this was, I would say, eighth grade.
Right.
We had like a little team in my hometown, Mount Vernon. It was called Junior Knights. So I got on that team, and it was like one step below the high school level, you know, JV, freshman, all that stuff.
Right.
So I played there and then honed my skills there and got better. So from there on, it was, you know, everything else is history.
Growing up, who would you say inspired you the most to play?
Outside of my family or just anybody?
Just in general.
In general,
Yeah.
My favorite player has always been Kevin Garnett. I just love the way he approached the game and his passion for the game, and also obviously his skills, Hall of Famer.
Right.
So that was who I always tried to model my game after. It's Kevin Garnett.
Right. Yeah, that's my next question. Who you model your game after?
Yeah, I mean, not just him. There's a few other people at my position who had the same skills that I feel like I have, who can shoot, who can rebound, you know, do all different things on the court, and that's what I pride myself on, is being able to do more than just one thing.
What's I know you're texting us like different times you were available. What's the time down there?
Right now it's 10:23 a.m. on Sunday.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a 14-hour time difference.
And how long have you been there?
You up this early?
Nah, it's all I got a game today anyway, so it's all good.
Dang.
What'd you say?
How long you been there? Did you play last season there?
Yeah, well, I've been playing the last 2 seasons. So this is my 3rd season in Japan overall, but this team I'm playing on now, this is my 2nd season here.
Okay. Yeah.
Sweet.
Ray, you want to move on to the college questions?
Yeah, that's good.
What was okay, so coming out of high school, what was your rating coming out of high school?
I was top 30. I was like a top 30 player coming out of high school. So yeah, I was somewhere around the McDonald's All-American range, but I didn't quite make it. So yeah, somewhere around there.
So take us into like your decision making, your process of deciding on WVU, how many offers, what other schools were you looking at?
Yeah, so I took all 5 of my official visits. I went to UMass, Pittsburgh, WVU, Indiana, and Ohio State. Those are my 5
Okay.
visits. So I went to all my visits, and WVU was just, it felt the most natural. It felt the most, I felt at home there.
Yeah.
And and of course Truck was there. He was the first one to sign out of our class with me and Devin. So obviously having 2 other New York dudes there in that same class helped me feel right at home as well. And then Coach Huggins, he came to my house on a home visit, and I just believed in everything he was saying. So
yeah. Well, what was your first? Okay, so was that the first time you met him?
Yeah, that was the first time I ever met him. And you know, as a high school kid,
Yeah,
he's legendary coach, and you hear all these
sure.
stories about him. But off the court, he's just like the nicest guy ever, man. Very soft spoken. But as y'all know, he's a different animal on the court, so very different.
What was the first impression?
Man, I mean, like I said, to a high school kid, he's intimidating, man. Like, you know, he's not a small guy.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming from where I'm coming from, it's not easy to be intimidated, but I can say that, you know, he had that factor to him, but at the same time, you could tell that he really cared about his players, and he really cared about developing them and getting them to the next level. So that's what I wanted to do. So I believe he could get me there.
All right, going into that, and we'll get into a little bit more of like West Virginia playing days. But personally, for me, okay, so I mean, I'm playing lower tier Division II basketball right now. You know what I mean? So I've seen high school and Division II. You've seen it all. You know, you got high end college ball, Final Four. You got NBA. You got overseas ball. What was just kind of take us? I mean, I know. I mean, it'd be so hard to just kind of simplify it, but just take us through the differences between high school, college ball, and then NBA plus overseas.
Well, the talent level is always different. The higher you get, the more talented the players are. And, you know, from high school, you're playing against guys who maybe shouldn't even make the team until college. Then you got the upper tier guys who are the best out of their state or whatever in every different college. And then obviously NBA, you got the best of the best players in the world. So the way I could say it is just the talent level grows the higher you get. And overseas basketball is a bit different, especially for foreigners, because you're away from family, you're away from everything you know. The culture is different. So that's a different level of discipline and like self-belief that you have to play in a different country that you're not used to, and then be able to produce with all that pressure as well. So I'd say overseas was probably harder to me than the NBA as far as the fact of just not being close to anything that you know or anything that you're used to. So that's what I would say the difference is.
What about language wise? Do you have other people speaking English? I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no. So on the team, every team you're allowed 3 Americans. So I have 2 other Americans.
There's a limit.
Yeah, there's a limit.
That's crazy.
Yeah, well, at least here in Japan, other countries you can have 4, 5, or 6, whatever.
Right.
But in Japan, there's a limit of 3. Yeah. So all of my other teammates are Japanese, but they're all good dudes, and some of them speak really good English. Some of them speak a little bit okay English, but for the most part, everybody gets along, and I've been blessed to have great teammates throughout my years overseas. So it's been great.
Okay, obviously, I mean, back playing for West Virginia, obviously we all think, I mean, living here, go back to the Final Four, you know what I mean? That is something we all think about, just especially when we think of you. But what, I mean, other than that, what would you say is like, if that's even your biggest memory, what's your biggest memory playing WU? Best moment, anything like that?
Well, obviously the Final Four sticks out in mind, but another best memory is winning the Big East championship on the Garden floor, because I'm from, that's my hometown, New York, and then to have all my family there and everybody supporting me and cutting down the nets and singing Country Roads on, like, who would have thunk that? So that was even more to me special than the Final Four run. was
Yeah.
that moment right there.
That's awesome. Yeah. One more about college. You could talk about it forever, but and you might not even be able to tell them. So if you need to pass this over, it's all good. But if you can just give us a little bit, any Bob Huggins funny stories you got. If you can't tell it, it's all good.
Yeah, nah, it's all good. I don't know. Can I curse on here?
Up to you. It don't matter.
Nah. So the one I always tell people is that when I was sick. So I'm gonna tell y'all two different ones, but this is the one I always tell people first. The one I was sick. This is my freshman year. We're playing Dayton in the first round of the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of sick. I didn't tell him. I told one of the assistant coaches because I already knew how he was.
Yeah.
So I told, he was like, what's going on? You're not feeling well. And I was like, I'm gonna just play through it, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So we lose the game. Ultimately, I didn't play well. And then so at the end of the game, he was like, and KJ doesn't want to play because he has the sniffles. He doesn't.
Oh man.
He doesn't. And mind you, I didn't tell him anything. I didn't say nothing to anybody but our assistant coach. And then that's when I knew. I was like, I'm not trusting anybody. I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm gonna just play. It is what it is. Like, so that was one story. And then the second story, nobody really knows about, but my teammates, and we laugh about it. It was my freshman year. Like we had a lot of teams that were press, and I wasn't good with handling the press at the beginning of my career. And so when I passed the ball, more than likely I would turn it over. And so we're in film, and he was saying, you can't pass KJ the ball because he's going to shit his pants every time he gets the ball. He's gonna throw it away. So don't pass him the ball. And I know he was just obviously he was trying to motivate me, and sometimes he has a way of testing your manhood.
For sure.
Right.
Yeah. So you gotta be mentally tough playing there, but it's all good. There's times like that I just sit back and just laugh because we all had one. Like each one of us had our own story about him. So
yeah. Big Watch, that's all you, brother.
I believe it's my turn to ask the questions now, Kevin.
Sounds good.
First question I have for you is, what were the pre-draft workouts like for the NBA?
There were a lot. I took a lot of them. It was probably more than half the teams in the NBA, but each one was different. Sometimes you played one-on-one with the other guys that were there. Sometimes you just did drills. Sometimes most of it was just talking and maybe 20 minutes on the court. So it just depends. Like it just depends what the teams were looking for. I look forward to the times where we got to play one-on-one and show our skills against the other guys that you're competing for one of those spots. So that was my favorite ones where we got to compete a lot.
Right.
Would you say it was different based on how the team ran, like their style of game?
Yeah, I think so. Some of the teams who were more faster paced, they made us do a lot of drills, like full court drills or whatever, something like that. And I think the slower paced teams, they may have made us do more skill stuff. They wanted to see where our skills were. And funny thing is, one of the workouts that were kind of crazy was the Miami Heat workouts, and because they make you wear knee pads because of the contact and everything, constant contact. So it was no like, okay, no, I don't want to wear it. Like you have to wear it because of like the constant contact and everything, and the way they have you working out. So that was a different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What has been the most difficult thing so far about your professional career?
I would say having to play overseas, and I come from a very close-knit family, so it's hard to only see them 2 months out of the year. The rest of those 10 months, I'm somewhere in another country playing basketball. So I would say that was the hardest part. Obviously, it's a blessing to be able to play professionally, doing what you love and making a living out of it. But those times get very tough, and sometimes you get homesick. And yeah, I would say that's probably the toughest part.
So how do you prepare yourself mentally for that?
It's hard. You never get fully used to it. No matter how good the place is where you are, there's no place like home. So you never get used to it fully, but you obviously you have to embrace where you are. And luckily, if you're in a good place, you have good teammates surrounding you. They make you feel, better about being there, and you don't get so homesick so often.
Yeah.
So, like I said, luckily, I've been lucky to have a lot of good teammates and a lot of good organizations to play for over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, because with me, I feel like that mental battle is probably very, very difficult.
Yeah, and sometimes it's more difficult than the actual playing the game, because obviously the
Yeah.
game is the game wherever you go. But that is a whole different aspect that people don't even think about.
I know.
Yeah.
When was it you decided that you wanted to play overseas?
I don't think I ever decided I wanted to play overseas. The dream was always to go to NBA, make it in the NBA. But when that didn't work out, it was just kind of a thing of taking the best offer. And I could either go back to the D League or I could go and make some real money overseas. So I decided that, I wanted to make more money, obviously, while I was young. And, who knows, maybe I might like it over here if I try it. So I tried it 1 year. My first year was in the Philippines. And yeah, ever since then, I was like, all right, cool. It's not as bad as I had imagined it in my mind, because I hear other people who played overseas, they have certain stories and it makes you not want to do it. But until you have your own experience, you'll never know. So I think that's what happened. That's what happened with that.
So since you've played overseas, you bounced around from team to team almost every year. Where's been your favorite place to play?
I would say Spain was pretty cool. Going to Spain, like the culture, the food out there, people. Yeah. Serbia was cool when I went there. I like Japan a lot. I'm in Tokyo, the capital, so I love it out here. Yeah. And so I've been in some great places. I've been to France, lived 20 minutes away outside of Paris. So
that's crazy.
Yeah. I've been around the world. This game has brought me to a lot of different places that I don't think I would have been if it wasn't for basketball.
What are the fan bases like in these countries you've played in compared to like the U.S.?
Well, it depends, man, because certain countries take basketball more serious than other countries.
Right.
So I've been lucky enough to have some great fan bases. It's more like college when you think about it. It's not obviously not as many people as the NBA arena can fill, but that passion, that hunger, and the way they care about their teams, it's like do or die, because that's their sports. That's the only sports that they have. So it's like I compare it a lot of times to being at WVU, being in Morgantown, and those crowds. So a lot of times it's like that.
Going back to what you said about being in different countries, what leagues have been the more difficult and more easy for you?
Yeah. Each league is different. It has its own different set of ways that you play there. So I'd say more difficult, the Spanish league. When I was in Spain, it's like the number one league in Europe. Every night it's actually, I played against Luka Doncic one time when I was out there. Actually, I had to guard him out in Spain. And then you have teams like Barcelona, Madrid, teams like that are really respected, and throughout all of Europe. So I think that was the hardest league. And then the easiest, I wouldn't say anything is easy, but Japan, I would say, is more of more of a foreigner-based league where they look to foreigners to do a lot of the heavy work, a lot of the scoring. So to have that responsibility is kind of fun. You get more opportunities to score and, do all that stuff. So that's pretty fun.
I had a question in mind, but I forgot it. From American perspective, do you think people look down on overseas?
For sure. I know I did before I went and played, and I didn't have much respect for the game of basketball overseas. And it wasn't until I started playing that I respected. I'm like, man, there's a lot of great players all around the world, because when you're in the US, all you think about is, you got NCAA and then you got the NBA. And if you ain't in either one of those, we don't respect it. But the more and more you play against different competition, you see a lot of the top 10 players in the league is from different countries.
Oh, sure.
So, yeah. So you realize how big of a sport basketball is everywhere and not just in the US. So it made me gain a new respect for it.
Yeah. That's one thing I wanted to ask. Okay, so oh my bad, I just saw a notification come up. Okay, so obviously you were in the NBA, so obviously there's no better jump start to get somewhere from the NBA. You always got that title next to your name, for anything, but just like especially talking about, guys, especially from upper tier colleges that don't make the NBA, but real ball players, like would you recommend going overseas? And like what would be the best way in going about that? What leagues, what countries, best way to transition from college ball to overseas?
Yeah. It's hard because everybody's situation is different. I would say to definitely explore that option if you have the chance, because it's not even so much about the money. It's because I feel like I've grown and matured as a person as well. Right. Also, it's a blessing and a curse, because you're being away from your family, but also that gives you another chance to explore different cultures and learn new things that you didn't know about the world. So not only is it a good thing financially, I think it's a good thing for you as a person to grow. And yeah, I wouldn't have had that chance if I would have stayed with the mindset of I'm only staying in the US, I'm only doing G League or NBA. And if that doesn't work, then it is what it is. So I would just say to definitely, if you have that option, to explore it, and then also do your research. If a team wants you, obviously you're going to have an agent, hopefully. But if the team wants you, do some research, like how are they with payments? How are they with players? Like, do they have good facilities? Do they take care of their players off the court? And because all of this is important, and all of this is a part of you being comfortable there so you can perform at your best level. So definitely do your research, because there's a lot of times where guys just go somewhere and they don't know what they're getting themselves into, and then end up leaving 2 or 3 months just either on the club side or on their side because they don't feel comfortable there. So right. Definitely do your research if you're going to go anywhere overseas.
That leads me to ask you, do you have an agent?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
How did you meet your agent?
I actually met him through my brother. He was a guy, he's been looking at me for a long time. Since high school, really. He lives around the same area I did when I was in high school. So he watched me grow up and he watched me develop since I was in high school. So he talked to my brother, and we set up a meeting after my senior year, and had lunch. He gave me the whole spill, and I just believed in him. He's a hard worker like me, so I knew that he would do the best for my career, I thought. And I was right. He's got me to a lot of great places, and financially he's helped me out a lot. So I've had the same agent since college, since after college. Yeah.
I believe this is my last question, unless I think of one from your answer. Who is your toughest matchup that you've ever had?
That's hard, man, because I played against a lot of different people that I've ever had. I'll do this. I'll go from high school, then I'll go college, and then NBA. High school, you guys probably wouldn't even know.
Try me.
I played against Greg Monroe before in high school, where he was the number one player in our class at that time, coming out 2008 class. So playing against him in high school, he was a tough cover. Al-Farouq Aminu, you guys know him.
I know. I do.
Also in my class, Tyreek Evans, also in my class, played against those guys. Big East wise, it was somebody new every year. So I'm gonna say DeJuan Blair, obviously Hashim Thabit. Man, it's so many different guys. But those guys stick out in my mind the most because I played them my freshman year. I was a skinny kid coming out of high school, so I really had no chance against them. But it was good competing against them. And NBA, man, pick your choice.
Every night,
every night, your choice. But my one time that does stand out, like I told y'all earlier, my idol is Kevin Garnett as far as basketball wise. So I got a chance to play against him when he was on the Celtics, and I got a chance to guard him just for a few possessions. It wasn't the whole time, but yeah. So that was a dream moment. And then also I got switched out. I don't know how this happened, but I got switched out on Kobe one time.
Oh no!
Playing against the Lakers, I got switched out on him on an island. So that was pretty interesting.
Score or no? Did he score?
Huh?
Did he score?
I fouled him.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah. No easy baskets. No easy.
That's
baskets.
right.
That's the only way you could stop him.
Huh?
That's the only way you could stop him.
Yeah, that's a fact. I wasn't, I'm not dumb. Yeah. Yeah. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I actually lied to you. That wasn't my last question. I have a two-part question. During COVID, have you found it to be more difficult or easy to, one, find an open gym, and two, stay focused?
Well, the first part, to find an open gym, it was almost impossible. Luckily, we got a chance to use somebody's gym. He had his own gym. He built it for his son actually, but he let some of the older guys from WVU use it. And man, that was a blessing, because if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had anywhere to play all summer, because the practice facility was closed all summer because of COVID, so we couldn't go there. So that was good. And then the second part, no, it was actually it was easy to focus because you had nothing else to do. So yeah, it was easy to sometimes I would just go and just watch old games of myself and just kind of break down film, just because where was I gonna go? I couldn't go outside, couldn't really do anything. Right. So it just gave you more time to focus on, your sport. So I think it was easier to focus.
All right, and I apologize because I lied to you again. I have one last question for real this time.
Yeah.
It's also a two-part question, sort of mixed in together.
Okay.
Would you rather have prime Wilt Chamberlain or prime Shaquille O'Neal on your team? And who do you think is better?
Shaq.
I've never been asked that question before. Prime Wilt Chamberlain. I've never seen. Obviously, you know the stats, but I've never seen Wilt Chamberlain play. So it's hard. It's hard to say, man. So I'm gonna go with Shaq, just because that's the most dominating force that I've seen in basketball. And like I said, I haven't seen Wilt Chamberlain, so it's hard for me to say. So I'm gonna just go with Shaq. I think Shaq is better.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go with Shaq.
Is that your answer for both?
What was Shaq? You said who would you take, prime Shaq or prime Wilt Chamberlain?
I asked who was better and who would you rather have to start a team with?
Yeah. Answer to both. Yep. I think Shaq is better, and I would start my team with Shaq.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm done here.
Brady, that's you.
All right, I got a question. Going back to college, my high school coach used to always tell us about Bob Huggins' practices and the treadmill he had. They would send you to. Just how hard were the practices with Bob Huggins?
So you hear about it, but until you in it, you have no idea. Like, so you think everybody's exaggerating until you're actually in it. But they were as hard as you can think. They were harder than that. So he has the treadmill running the whole time on the top speed. I wouldn't say the top speed of the whole treadmill. I don't even know how fast it can really go, but it's at like 16 miles per hour. So pretty fast. And so let's just say you mess up in a drill, and the quickest way to get on the treadmill is if you let somebody go middle to the middle of the court, beat you middle, and then if you give up an offensive rebound and you don't box out, and you're not on the, so wherever the ball is shot, you're taught to be on the opposite side of where the ball is shot. So if you're not opposite, it doesn't matter where you are, you have to get opposite when the ball is shot. And if you don't do that, then you're on the treadmill. So my freshman year, it was like a revolving door of me going on the treadmill, me getting right back into the drill. And of course, I'm tired from being on the treadmill. So I let somebody beat me middle, then I go back on the treadmill. It's like a revolving door, man. Like I didn't know how I was going to make it through that 1 year, let alone 4 years.
That's crazy.
What were your thoughts after the first practice?
I'm tired. Yeah. Me and I think that was the most tired I've ever been in my entire life. Me and Chuck, we were roommates all 4 years, but in the dorms, we literally, after practice was over, we slept the rest of the night. We ate and then we slept the rest of the night. Our practice was 4 to 7. We got home probably around 8, and then we ate some food, and then we slept the rest of the night. Like we didn't do anything else but sleep until the next morning when our practice was. That's how tired we were.
Dang.
Crazy. I'm like, man, we got a whole season of this. How am I? Yeah, but somehow we adjusted, we adapted, and made it through.
What was the hardest drill he had you guys do in practice?
So it was a 2-on-1 drill where you had to actually he broke the teams into like sevens, like 7, and so one team goes down 2-on-1, the other team comes back 2-on-1, and he broke it down like that. And obviously every basket it counts. So however many you lose by, that's how many sprints you have to run after. So sometimes people are losing by like 12 and 13 and 14, and they're making you run you're running all of these sprints. So it was so competitive because we didn't want to. If you lose by 14 after a transition drill, you got 14 sprints. Like and that's at the beginning of practice. That's not even the rest of the practice. Yeah. So I would say that drill sucked because I was on both sides. I was on the side who smacked the other team, and then I was on the side who got smacked. So, man, yeah, it just taught you to be competitive and not let up. I think that was his whole theme, was no possession off. Like every possession you play, it depends on it. So that's how we played.
So were your college practices the hardest practices you've ever gone through?
By far.
Yeah.
By far, not even close. We always joke, like if you can make it through Coach Huggins' practice, you can make it through anything. So nothing else in life can scare me like a Coach Huggins practice.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, I got a couple more questions here, then we'll let you go. Yeah. If you can name one thing that basketball has taught you, what would it be?
Responsibility, and just being accountable for what you do on the court. That was one of Coach Huggins' big things. And my brother, who he taught me that too, just about accountability and just being a man. It's tough. Obviously, when you don't play well or something like that, you get down on yourself and start self-loathing or whatever. But just taking that accountability and knowing that you can do better and working hard to be the best version of yourself that you can. And that applies not only on the court but off the court as well.
Right.
So it's taught me a lot of life lessons, but I think that's the biggest one, is self-accountability.
Yeah, I like that. And what's the best advice you would give to an upcoming basketball player?
Just work hard, man. You never know. Obviously, not everybody is blessed with the same talent, same body type, athletic, whatever. But whatever you got, work with it and be the best version of that you can be. Because there's a spot for everybody. It might not be where you want to be or where you thought of, but there's a spot for everybody. And I truly believe that if you work your hardest and become the best version of yourself that you can, that you can exceed, you can get to those expectations or sometimes exceed them. I feel like I've exceeded expectations since I started playing ball.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that's the big thing, is just to never underestimate yourself. Always work hard.
What time's the game tonight?
Game's at 3 p.m. my time.
Wait,
So
how long you got?
That would
You
be
don't got that
one.
much time.
That would be one. Yeah, no, I get to the gym. I got like an hour till I have to get to the gym. So I'm good. Yeah.
You have a pregame routine you do?
Yeah, man. I got a playlist every game. I switch it up depending on how I'm feeling that day. So I got a playlist. I like to have some cereal, nice bowl of fruit. I like to listen to motivational stuff. I go on YouTube sometimes, listen to motivational speeches, either some old Kobe or some MJ, whatever, man. Get me in that right mindset. So that's my pregame routine.
Yeah. What's your go-to music on a game day?
Like I said, it depends on how I'm feeling that day. So sometimes I go for some slower stuff, maybe some old Kanye, maybe some old Jay-Z, J. Cole.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like I'm really a fan of old school. When I say old school, like early 2000s, which would be old school right now.
Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a question.
What?
What changes your moods to different music? Like what's depending on it?
Maybe depending on how the day is going. Like if I woke up, some days you wake up feeling better than others. So if I'm waking up feeling really good, I don't really need that much of a boost in my music to help me going. But if I don't wake up particularly feeling well, then I need more of a boost in my music, some louder music, some more motivational stuff. So that just depends on it.
Right.
I have another question.
Yeah.
How do you lock yourself into the game and forget everything else?
Sometimes
Like, what does that for you?
Sometimes it's hard to do that, but I meditate. I just got into it about a year ago, and it really helps me focus. So 30 minutes before on the ride over to the arena, I'll pop on some meditation and kind of it helps me clear my mind and put out all the outside noise. And it's really helped me since I've done that. Cause during the course of a game and before the game, you got pre-game jitters, you got all these emotions going through you because you want to play well. So for me, that helps calm me down and get in a certain zone of, not too high, not too low, just real even.
Right. All right. Do we have any more questions?
Right, he
We're
got
about-
he got to get to the game, man.
Yeah, Zoom
Nah,
only
it's-
gives us 40 minutes too, so
It's all good, man. If y'all got any questions, ask them now, man. I'm here.
no, man. But thank you for coming on today.
Oh, we appreciate you so much.
No problem, man. No problem. Thanks for having me.
Hey, when you find yourself back in the States, we need to link up.
All right. No doubt. No doubt.
Let everybody. Is there any way to? I don't know what kind of streaming services do y'all stream the games?
Nah, it's hard, man. Sometimes our games come on YouTube, but I'll tell everybody that just sometimes they might catch a game on YouTube. Our
Right.
name is Tokyo Alvark, Alvark,
Okay.
and that's the name of my team. So if you guys just search on there, maybe you'll find an old game, or you know, sometimes they have games live streaming. I think they got the Facebook page too that you might catch a live game on. So Tokyo Alvark, Alvark.
Okay.
Tokyo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm sure we'll have tons of WVU fans when and watch those.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. All my friends and family ask me like, where can I see the game? I'm like, I don't know. It's kind of hard. You know what I mean? It's not like it's on a channel somewhere. You know?
All right, actually,
What's your favorite shoe to play in?
My favorite shoe?
Yeah, to play in.
I'm a hyper dunk fan.
Well, you
Huh?
you really came up like when the hyper dunks were pretty popular.
Yeah, and WVU, that was the shoe, was the hyper dunk, and they're so comfortable and durable. So with me, I'm not a guy who changes shoes all the time. After every game, I got a whole bunch of shoes. Like if I could wear the same shoe the whole season, that's what if it feels comfortable for me, that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
Yeah.
I wear my shoes out.
Yeah, exactly. Me too.
All right, I got one more, then I'll let you go.
Yeah.
Are you up still playing the TBT tournament next year?
I hope so, man. Hopefully COVID dies down and we get a chance to play in Charleston like we were supposed to last
That's
summer.
what I was gonna say. It was supposed to be here, wasn't it?
Yeah. So I think that it's still an option now because a lot of fans, they voted on one of the places to be. So that'll be dope.
Right.
Having us in there and seeing the success that the Marshall team had.
Right. Yeah.
That'll be dope, man. I hope so, for real.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, like I said, thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for having me. Like I said, you guys keep doing your thing, man.
Sir.
For sure.
Kevin, it was nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah,
Nice to
appreciate
meet
you, man.
Nice to meet y'all.